Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this lesson we are looking at Hipaint and looking at its features and basically getting to know Hipaint more personally. Please like and share this video if you find this video useful, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay, so let's get into it. This is Hipaint. I'm going to click on it. So basically you're seeing some folders that I've already created, and I like to name the folders according to the brands that I work with. Yeah, you can do that too, just to keep your work space organized. So let's create a new canvas, or a new painting rather. So I'm going to click on create new painting, and as you can see there are like different kinds of canvas sizes, and it all depends on what you want and your vibe, the vibe you're going for. Really, I personally prefer to use a 3x4 screen size because it just gives me this portrait look, and um it's a portrait size basically. So this is what the 3x4 looks like. It's portrait. So you can go back and look at what other ones look like. The screen size, it just gives you like a very wide screen, so it gives you enough play area. It depends on really what you want to go for. There's another one. Yeah, the 9x16 is portrait, but it's a lot smaller than the 3x4. This is too small for me, that's why I don't use it. So I'll rather stick to my my 3x4 JJ. 3x4 JJ. All right, so this is basically the area that you'll be working with. This is your workspace in Hipaint, right? This is the canvas, and I think Hipaint is very easy to understand, pretty much very easy. So let's look at the different toolbars at the top. So this circle shape just gives color, and you can select any color on your screen for illustration. So this picker right here basically helps you to select any color on your screen. These are my used colors, my frequently used colors, so that's why you can see them here. But you can always select the colors that you want by just playing around with it. And if you have like the color specifications and the number, you can always edit it here, right? Let's move on to the layers. So the layers is going to be a different video on its own because it's really technical and you really need to understand. It's not something I need to rush. But let's start with the background. The background basically is this white space that you're looking at, right? And you can change the background color according to your mood to say, and or your according to your brand color. Basically, it's not compulsory that you use white. So click on the background and change the color. Now it's black, right? If your company colors are probably yellow, blue, whatever, you can always change it. You can keep changing it to any color that any color that you want. So typical painting, or what's it called, illustration rule, is that the color that you're using to illustrate should contrast the background, so it should contradict the background basically, so that people can see what you're trying to illustrate. So if my background is black, my my brush, let me use the ink. Yeah, my brush color should be the paint should be maybe white, so that you can really see, you can really see what I'm doing. Or it can be blue, something that will basically show what you're doing. So I'm going to take this back to white. Oh yeah, I'll just leave it as black. Okay, so layers, you can keep adding layers, as many layers as you want. I think you can add up 40 layers in Hipaint. But the more the layers, the more complicated your work will be. So you have to be careful with that. And to delete, you can just click on it and delete. What's that delete button? Oh, sorry. I think you have to slide. Yeah, you slide and delete. Slide and delete. Yeah. So basically, it depends on what you want to do. So we'll go back to layering in just a moment. So the next tool is the eraser. I'm going to go to the layer where I drew, and I'm going to erase. So this is like the eraser, basically just to clean, and you can control the size here. You can control the size here, and here you can control the basically the opacity of your brush, of your paint, and of the eraser. So move on to the brushes. So one thing I like about Hipaint is that it has so many brushes, so let's start from the imported. I've not imported any brush, so you won't see any option here. Let's go to the primary color pen. Start with pearl brush. Pearl brush is basically if you want to draw pearls in your illustration, and it just easily draws, the pearl. This is basically pearl. This is what it looks like. Pearl necklaces, pearl earrings, pearl bracelets, depending on what you're doing. We'll move on to the pearl 3D brush. This is pearl but in 3D. The reason why it's the reason why it looks like this is because it's in 3D. But if you want that pearl effect, I suggest I use the first pearl brush. And then we also have the love brush. If you want to create maybe like a Valentine's Day textile or pattern on your fabric, you can just come and give yourself an easy love brush here. And there are many other there are many other brushes that you can use, and that is one of the reasons why I love Hipaint, because there are so many options. This is a star. I'm going to increase the size of the star. This is a star, basically. Depends on what you want to do. If you have like an Ankara fabric and you want to add flair to your Ankara and you want to add style, maybe you can add this star. There are many other cartoonish characters which normally I will not use, but hey, feel free, explore. So we'll move on to the basic brushes. I'm just gonna we'll move on to the basic brushes. Now they're called basic because for me they're not basic, but they're called basic here probably because it's something that a designer will use all the time. So soft airbrush, if you want to add like texture to your designs, you can use any of the soft airbrushes. If you want, so it depends on the design that you're going for. This gives like a very soft brush, soft effect to your designs. So you may want to use this brush if you want to achieve that. We can also move on to the sketching. So I'm just going to clean this. Let me just get in a different layer. We can move on to the next brush, which is the sketch brush. Sorry. These are basically pencils. It gives the same effect that it would give if you are sketching on a paper. H pencil. We have 2H pencil, HB pencil, 2B pencil. It basically gives the same effects that you have when you are sketching on paper. Let me change the color to white. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just like you're sketching on a paper. This will come in handy when you don't want to add, technicality to your drawings or to your sketches. You can just like sketch using a pencil. So all these are pencils. If pencil is your thing, fine, just come here and use pencil. Then go to dry media. Dry media helps me to add texture to my fabric when creating fabric. So we have soft charcoal, we have medium charcoal, we have hard charcoal. So this hard charcoal, I need you to see it. Yeah, there are some fabrics that come like this. There's some fabrics that come like this. There's some fabric that have this texture. Some crepe fabric have this texture. So if you want to emphasize on the kind of fabric that you're using for a client, and if the fabric is something like this, you can just come here and use this brush to show the client the kind of texture and the kind of feel that the fabric has, right? So I'm going to clean that. I'm just gonna, okay. We also have charcoal block. So it's a bit different from the first one, but this is giving a different texture. Basically, if you want to create any pattern, depends on the pattern that you want to create. I've seen some Balenciaga designs that have something like this, and Givenchy designs that have something like this. So it all depends on what you want to do. So feel free to explore. Some fabrics have different textures. So move on to ink. Now ink basically is one of the general pens that you'll be using. It's one of the pens that you must use as your base for designing. So the ball point pen, I use it for labeling because it's very easy to write and it's very clear. So if I'm writing my name, for instance, you can see how clear it is. If you try to use the fountain pen to label, it won't be that clear. It's clear, but it won't be as clear as the ball pen. And if you try to use bleed for labeling, of course, this obviously is not very clear. So you can see that each of these pens have their own advantages and disadvantages, right? The bleed pen, I use it when I'm doing a flow. So if I'm creating like a flow dress or a flare dress, I use it to just create textures in the dress, something like this. I just use it to show that, okay, this fabric is flowing. That's what I use it for. Gel pen is also there. So just like the name implies, gel pen, it kind of like disappears as soon as you are done. It has this fainting effect. It just faints. So let's move on to airbrushing. Airbrushing, yeah. So like I said earlier, different strokes for different folks, right? And don't forget that you can always change the colors. You can change the colors. Just come here and pick the color that you want, right? I'm going to show you some really cool effects that these brushes can help you achieve in your illustrations. So let's move on to plants. The first one is weed. So this is what weed looks like. Let me use a different color. Let me use white. So this is what weed looks like. What does this look like actually? Although Hipaint calls it weed, I won't call it weed. I'll call it something like maybe ostrich feathers. So if I want to portray ostrich feathers, in my illustration, I can just use weed. They look like ostrich feathers, basically. And there are some fabrics that also have this leafy pattern, this leaf pattern. So if you have a fabric, or a client brings in that kind of fabric, and you want to really wow, don't forget that this class is basically to wow your customers, is to wow your clients. Let them be like, oh my gosh, this girl really knows what she's doing. So if you see that the client's fabric has something like this, leaf design, please, by all means, import the leaf design into your designs. Let them be wowed. Anything to impress your clients, please. I'm all for it. We can move on to, so your assignment now is to just explore everything that Hipaint has to offer. Move on to materials. Glitter. I'm going to show you this glitter. If you want to add spice to your illustrations, for instance, if your illustration has like bling bling, embellishment, what's it called, beading, and you want to show it in your illustration, you can either use glitter. Look at how it glitters. It literally glitters. You can either use glitter or use lights. I prefer to use lights. So can you see how this one really glitters? Like it shines. It's like actual lights. So these lights can help you to showcase the designs, the bling bling, the embellishments, the beading, whatever it is that you really want to point out in your illustration. And obviously you can keep changing the colors. Is it red that you want to use? Is it blue? I would have used black, but our canvas is black, so it won't really show. But keep changing the colors. Feel free, explore. Just wow your customers. Show them that you can do it. This is it. Some fabrics come like this. Some fabrics have a mixture of leaf and glitters. So however you want to explore, my dear, please just explore. Is it leaf? You can add leaf to it. Let me change the color of the leaf. You can add leaf to it. So just explore, my dear. So the next one I'm going to show you is we've done lights, elements. These elements can help you. I think this is smog, yeah. So if you have this cloudy effect in your wedding dress, or in any wedding dress you want to design, if you're a wedding dress designer, then you can use this smog effect. Then let's move on to this new one that I created, or that a friend of mine actually helped me to create. Yeah, it is chantilly lace. So you know how like clients always come with chantilly lace. They really want to add on lace to their designs and everything. You can showcase this in your illustration. This is lace. This is literally lace. This is lace. So if you're interested in having this kind of lace, then let me know in the comment section, so I can tell you the specifications and basically how to import this lace into your Hipaint. This lace will not come with your Hipaint. You have to import it by yourself, right? Like you can see, unnamed. I think your own Hipaint will stop at grids, but if you want this, let me know in the comment section, and I would visit that request. So this is lace basically, and you can play with this lace any way you want. This is white. I can change the color to blue. I can change the color to yellow, for instance. Let's use the yellow. I haven't used yellow in a while. yeah, so that's it basically for this video. I don't want this video to be very long. I'll just cut it short, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much.